Okay, I'm going to give you two sentences. He lives on 3rd Street. He lives at 303 3rd Street. Now, do you know why in the first sentence it's on and in the second sentence it's at? So today we're going to look at the 5 main uses of at, and one of them is about specific location. And then we'll take a quiz, so make sure to stay till the end of the video. If you're new to this channel, hello, my name is Charlie, and here we learn about English and language in general. Y si hablas español, puedes activar los subtítulos para entender mejor la lección. So the preposition at in English has 5 main uses: specific location, specific time, used with a verb to describe direction, to say you're good or bad at something, and sometimes to talk about ages. Now, of course, there are other uses of this preposition. It's very common, and it also changes between American and British English. But today we're going to look at the main uses, so let's get started. Okay, so let's start with specific locations. And by specific, I mean addresses and specific places. So that could be stores, buildings, houses, any place that occupies, one spot on a street. So to go back to the beginning of class when we said he lives on 3rd Street, see, a street is a whole section of a city, basically. It has many specific locations. So we use on for streets, but specific locations are one point on a street. So he lives at 303 3rd Street. That is one point on the street, and that's why we can use at. It is a specific location. So let's look at some examples. I'll start by saying I am at home right now. Right, so home would be my house or my apartment. That is a specific location, so we can use at. Let's say Manchester City plays at the I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, stadium. So we have a specific location, Etihad Stadium. It is on a street, and so we can use at. Let's look at maybe one more example here. We can say let's say you can buy good coffee at the local cafe. Okay, so the local cafe, again, one point on the street. It's a specific place. It's a store, so you can say that. And that's about it for specific locations. So this same type of rule applies for times, specific times. So times on the clock, and we have an exception here that I will explain in a second. But the most important thing is times on the clock. So, 5 a.m., 10:15 p.m., 6, and then literally any number, 08 p.m., you're going to use at because they are specific times on a clock. So for example, we can say Jenny always wakes up at 6:30 a.m. Okay. So again, specific time on the clock, you can use at. Let's do another one. The family, we just used always here. So let's say the family ate dinner at 8 p.m. Or to be more specific, let's say 8:03 p.m. And that way we've got a specific time on the clock. Now, normally, if you want to say the morning, if you want to talk about a part of the day, you have to use the preposition in, because it's not a specific time on the clock. It's just a section of the day. So you can say in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. But for some reason in English, and I don't know why, we use at night. So I'm going to highlight that because it's kind of an exception. That color does not look great here. Let's change it to green. Okay, so an example of this could be the city isn't very safe at night. Okay, so we have this at night. So remember, it's times on the clock, but it can also be at night. But this is an exception. In the morning, in the evening, in the afternoon, but at night. Okay, those are specific locations and specific times. So these are some of the main uses of at. Remember to stick around because we will test your knowledge, test what you learned in a quiz. But let's continue on to verbs with direction. So We've got verbs like throw, wave, shoot, and point. These are some of them that I've written down. There are other verbs with direction, but basically what I mean here is that you are taking an action and either a ball or something is going to go in that direction. So for example, throw, you can say I threw the ball at the wall, okay? So this basically just means the ball's direction was towards the wall, and here we can use at. I threw the ball at the wall. Let's do another one. She waved at her mom. Okay, so here basically, let's say she's trying to find her parents, and she goes like this. She waves at her mom. Here you can use at as well. Okay. And let's do one more. You can say it's rude to point at other people. Let's say that. Okay. So in this case, all three of these, if you point at someone, you got this direction. So we've got that there. Wave at, you're waving in the direction of someone else. And threw the ball at the wall, you are throwing the ball at, or you are throwing the ball with direction towards the wall. So that's with direction. And let's move on to the fourth use, good or bad at, and other adjectives. It's not just good, it's not just bad. We can use other adjectives as well. So let's start with some examples with good and bad. You can say the athlete is good at baseball. Okay, the athlete is good at baseball. And basically, you just put at after this adjective here, good. We can also say he is bad at football, something like that. So here's good at, and here's bad at. Now, if you want to, you can change the adjective. This can be kind of any adjective to describe ability. So let's say she is excellent at finding, I don't know, restaurants, something like that. You can say that, again, an ability here. And we'll do one more. He's terrible. This is a negative one, at driving. Okay, so we can do this as well. So yeah, just adjectives and then at to come after it, and then an ability. So good at baseball, excellent at finding directions, terrible at driving. All right, so we've got one more, and that is ages, and this is sometimes used, not always. You can use it in the past, in the present, and even in the future. But let's look at some examples. What we do is at with the number of years old we are, or we were, or we will be. So for example, at 20, I was very athletic, you can say. And in this case, we've got at plus the age, and then describing something else. We'll do another one. At 35, she is a fantastic teacher, let's say. And so here are two examples of that at the beginning of the clause, but we can also put it at the end of the clause. You can say something like, they have a lot of energy at 50 years old. And this way we have at here at the end of the clause, but it's probably more common to say at 50 or at 50 years old, they have a lot of energy. And so this years old, you can also add it to these, but it's optional. And here as well, it's optional. Okay guys, so just a quick review, and then we will take the quiz. We use at mainly for specific locations, so addresses, places, and buildings, specific times, which are dates and times in the day, verbs with direction, good and bad at, and ages. Sometimes, not always, and there are also other uses of at. And again, they change sometimes from British to American English. But let's take a quiz about what we've learned so far. Okay, the quiz is going to work like this. I will write a sentence with at, and you tell me if it's a correct use or not. So this first one, he lives at Maple Street. So in this case, remember, streets are a little too general for the preposition at. If we want to use at, we can either say he lives at 105 Maple Street using an address, or you can simply use on and say Maple Street. But let's make it at and say 105 Maple Street. So again, specific address. We need a specific place. Question number 2. Do you work at Amazon? Is this correct? This is correct because Amazon is referring to a place, and we can use work at when we're talking about the place that we work. So it's a specific place, therefore we can use at. Question 3, they woke up at 9:05 a.m. Is this okay? This is correct. We have 9:05 a.m., a specific time, and so we can use at for specific times. And question number 4, I'm good at cleaning, but I don't clean at the morning. Is this correct? So here we have 2 examples of at. I'm good at cleaning. This is correct because we are talking about an adjective plus an ability. This is a good use of at. But I don't clean at the morning. This is incorrect because the morning is a general time. It is not specific. So if we want to make this specific, we can say, I don't clean at 7 a.m. Or you can always say, I don't clean in the morning and just not use the preposition at. But for now, we're focusing on at, so let's say at 7 a.m. All right, how did you guys do on the quiz? Leave your scores in the comments, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have. All right, so thank you for watching the video. Remember, if you like that, feel free to give a like and subscribe for more content. And I will link my socials in the description so you can check me out on TikTok and Instagram as well.